Okay, so Spill Your Truth is where we take a deeper look at different spiritual healing techniques and how they can help us on our journey to recovery. This is the part of the podcast where we break down powerful spiritual practices like meditation, shadow work, affirmations, and energy cleansing. These aren't just buzzwords, they are tools that can help us move through trauma, release emotional wounds, and reconnect with our inner strength. Grab your tea, settle in, and let's spill your truth together.
Meditation and mindfulness. Finding peace in the present moment. Meditation and mindfulness helps bring us into a present moment by allowing us to slow down, breathe, and tune in to our thoughts without judgment. When we meditate, we create space between ourselves and our emotions, helping us observe them rather than being consumed by them. Mindfulness teaches us to stay present, reduce anxiety about the past or future, and bring a sense of peace. Even just a few minutes a day can help quiet mental chatter, ease pain, and reconnect us with our inner selves. What has been your experience with meditation and mindfulness? So I'll say I know both of them work. I
Mhm.
found out about mindfulness through mental health counseling, and so they had us like take be in groups, and when we was doing the group work they was always talking about mindfulness and being still and slowing down everything. And so years ago I did a lot of mindfulness meditation. I've always struggled with. I will always tell you that it was hard for me to sit down and breathe for even 5 minutes a day because my mind was always racing and running, and I felt like if I was always thinking while I was meditating then it wasn't working. But that's not true. You got to start somewhere. So yeah, I've done it all. But I will say that working with nonverbal kids helped me the most because I had to slow down to communicate with them, to read their body language, to know what it was that they wanted, to know that they were hungry, to know that they were sad, mad, to know whether they were happy, and what they were trying to communicate. And so for me being able
Yes, I
to
did that.
so mindfulness helped me to slow down so that I could meditate. Even though I had learned mindfulness and I didn't meditate, but later on I was able to learn how to meditate. So if you have problems like me with meditating, start with 5 minutes a day and then slowly add more time. The longer you do it consistently, the more you'll
Mhm.
be able to do. Then you'll be able to do 30 minutes a day because we live in a busy, fast paced world and we need to take time every day to slow down and ground ourselves, and meditation helps with that. Kari, what's your experience with meditation and mindfulness?
All right. My experience with meditation mindfulness, meditation for me, I think because I didn't meditate a lot, but meditation for me was very calming, and it took me into a place of peace and wholeness. And
Mm.
mindfulness, I'm still working on that. Cause my mind is all over the place. I'm always in my head thinking all the time. I'm a Gemini, so we always overthink. But I don't meditate a lot, but meditation has helped me relax. It has helped me find peace within myself, and it has. I think it. And I tried to have like out of body experiences by doing it.
Mhm.
I was close
Mhm.
to doing it, but then I would get scared. So
Mhm.
meditation is like really good for like having out of body experiences and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I don't meditate a lot, so I wouldn't say that is something that I should. I actually should start meditating because I feel like when I
Every
start
day.
meditating, I feel like I raise my frequency. You know what I mean? Because there's a certain way
Mhm.
you do it. You gotta sit down with your legs crossed and put your arms on your legs, and and you can really feel yourself like elevating to a higher vibration when you meditate, and it's so crazy. Cross your
You can
legs.
feel that? I can't feel
Yeah,
that.
I can feel it.
Mm-mm.
Like I don't know. I guess I can feel stuff more. But
Yeah, you can.
yeah. So I'm thinking I'm gonna start meditating, like, cause I would normally lay on my back and do it, but
Mm.
I'm gonna start like meditating the right way,
I
like
don't think it
just
matters. I've done it all. I've done it on my back. I've done it sitting on a chair. I've done it with my legs crossed. I don't think it matters as long as you do it.
yeah. I think when you meditate, you go into your your inner self. I don't know how to explain it, but it's sort of like,
Calm your spirit.
yeah, you can see your inner self, like, in a way,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. Yeah.
Because I used to feel like I used to feel like I was always on the go 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 go. Like my spirit
Hmm.
was always like, let's run, let's go, let's always in a hurry, always like trying to speed things up. And when I started meditating, I realized that feeling went away. And
Mm.
I don't have as much anxiety either.
Yeah. I wonder if that stuff makes you younger too. But
Probably does.
you know
Be
what? Then
taking the stress off
I'll
you.
start doing it every day. Then that's because I'll start meditating. Shoot.
You funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna start meditating every day because it is calming. Shadow work,
Hmm.
facing and healing deep emotional wounds. Shadow work allows us to confront and heal hidden emotional wounds by bringing awareness to the parts of ourselves that we often suppress or deny. These may include past traumas, fears, insecurities, or negative patterns that impact our lives. By facing these shadows with honesty and compassion, we can begin to release emotional baggage, break toxic cycles, and step into a more authentic and healed version of ourselves. Shadow work is a powerful tool for self discovery and deep inner healing. So, have you ever done shadow work and what did it reveal to you? Shadow work was probably the hardest part because it required an ego death. And one of the hardest parts is taking accountability for
You'll be.
for my BS and stop acting like I'm always a victim and blaming everyone else when it's like, no, like,
Hmm. No,
so
you had a role in this too. Yeah.
yep. So shadow work was the hardest part because you got to have an ego death, and having ego death means you become a new person. And
Hmm.
what I've realized when it comes to taking accountability, you feel like you've risen higher in vibration. Like, no, seriously, like you can really feel it, and
Hmm.
you also feel when you actually start to go within, you become
Hmm.
more one with yourself, and you stop ignoring your flaws. When you start correcting your flaws and acknowledging them, you become more whole with yourself. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, have you ever felt like that way before?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly everything you're talking about.
Yeah, so having an ego death is it's a good thing because it might be scary, but like people
Mm.
need to let go of that I'm right and you're wrong attitude and really go within, because the only way you're going to be right is to have an ego death.
Yep.
You can't just,
Be authentic to
yep,
yourself.
right. It's all about authenticity. I can't even say it. And just being true to who
I
you
have
are.
trouble with that word too.
Right. I'm like, why I can never say the word right. But it's it really is self discovery. Like, you're discovering a part of yourself that you ignored for so long. And
Hmm.
once you take accountability, you become more humble. You become a better person. I think a lot of times a lot of people run away from their problems and they end up with no friends because they never want to take accountability.
Exactly. It's everybody else's fault but theirs.
Yep, exactly. So what's your experience with that?
So I believe that shadow work is essential to learning how to love your whole self, not just the good side, the side of you show to the world. You have to learn to love the side of you that you hide and the reason why you hide that side of you. Now, shadow work reveals so much about my self sabotaging behaviors, my relationships with myself and the world, the mirror I was looking at, and my core issues. It also helped me to heal my present and past life karma. When you heal your shadow, you heal all of your timelines at the same time. That is why your soul keeps coming back to earth to heal its karma and learn the lesson it wants to learn. That is why you will repeat lessons until you learn from them in this lifetime or the next. Shadow work is more than just confronting the side of you that you don't like. It is about learning to love the side of you that you deny daily. Work is about knowing all of you, not just one side of you. And sometimes you have to look at why your shadow side chooses to do the same thing to make you not like you or act like the way you do. And so for me, like it's the core like shadow work emotions. Learning that I wasn't as good as a parent as I thought I was, that I really didn't have a good relationship with my mother, but in my mind, I made it that way so that I could tolerate her. Learning that I do not like being uncomfortable, even if I'm okay. It's just I feel uncomfortable, but I had to acknowledge that everything's okay. I'm fine. I have everything that I need. I'm just uncomfortable because I just don't like feeling uncomfortable, um, or learning about what is it, like being disappointed and learning that I don't like people to help me and I don't like asking for help because I don't want to be disappointed. All this
Right.
time I thought I was just hyper independent and I was just like I could do it myself. No, I just don't want to be disappointed in anybody because my expectations were too high. And what I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning is that you really need to not have expectations in anyone or anything because then you're less likely to be disappointed,
That's
And so yeah, I would say like shadow work has really, and this ego death, like you said, like the ego death is just it brings all that up and it lets you know that you're not the victim, that you had a role in everything, and that's humbling too. Is learning
yeah.
that you had a role, like you picked those people to be in your life, you chose to keep them in your life, you chose to not be you, to have those people in your life, and then you're mad because they treated you the way that you knew that they were going to treat you because
Mm-hmm.
you already knew who they were at first,
Right.
and realizing that, you have a choice in this and you could have stopped it, but you chose not to stop it because you were worried more about their emotions than your own, and that you caused your own pain to happen. And because you wanted to be liked or loved. And that was another thing for me learning with my shadow work was that everything I did was because I wanted to be liked or loved. And I didn't want to be abandoned or
Right.
rejected. And so I had to be okay with being abandoned and rejected and and see that as a part of life, just the emotion. Everybody gets rejected, not everybody gets abandoned.
Right. Right.
Everybody has moments in life where they get rejected, and that's normal, or being
Mm-hmm.
disappointed or
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable, those type of, and that's why I call them hard emotions, because for me those are hard emotions, and those are the ones that I ran from and didn't want to feel. But being on this spiritual journey, I've been forced to face them and acknowledge them and feel them and to go within and to learn why and where it comes from and what's the root, of why I feel this way and why I don't want nobody taking care of me and why I'm so hyper productive and I have to always feel like I'm trying to achieve and do something at all times, and that I just can't give myself a break because it makes me feel less than, but it's all coming from not having to depend on other people to be disappointed in them, because I would rather be disappointed in myself than in other people. I guess that's what I've learned.
Hmm. Okay. Very
Affirmations
good.
and mantras, reprogramming the mind for healing. Affirmations and mantras help reprogram our mindset by replacing negative self-talk and with positive, empowering beliefs. When we constantly speak words of healing, self-love, and encouragement, we begin to shift our subconscious thoughts and energy. Over time, these affirmations create a new mental narrative that support our growth, confidence, and emotional well-being. By repeating mantras daily, we reinforce self-worth and align ourselves with the healing and love we deserve. How have you used affirmations in your healing process? I have to say all the time. I will say affirmations every day, at least once a day. Like I'll be scrolling through Facebook, or I mean not Facebook, Instagram or YouTube, and I'll see affirmation and I'll say it because I know that that is important to say those things, to put your energy out into the universe and to speak things as if they already are, And so um, I made an affirmation that I read every day for months. I believe that if you are addicted to negative thoughts, then you need to say affirmations all the time to counter them. I have to say I am worthy of love and acceptance because I believe that I wasn't for so long, and sometimes still wonder, do I? I say I am proud of myself because I am the hardest on myself. Sometimes I need to acknowledge that I am doing a good job. I trust my
Mm-hmm.
decisions because I have a hard time trusting myself because I have high expectations of myself. I am strong and resilient because I feel weak and timid at times in my life. I deserve happiness when you grow up in a dysfunctional family, you may not think you deserve happiness. I am worthy of good things because, again, when you are addicted to negative thinking, you don't think you're worthy because all you can think is why. you're not.
Okay.
Do you say affirmations?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were still talking. I don't say them enough. When I do,
Mm,
though, it's weird. My energy just changes so drastically. Like it's really it's crazy how words, how your thoughts have that much power.
power.
Yeah. I feel like I had no control, but you really do. Not just in your physical life, but how you think
Mm,
about yourself really changes your atmosphere and changes everything around you because our thoughts are
mm.
connected to the universe, connected to God. When we have a thought, it goes out into the universe and it affects how we live. How we live. So I'm starting to realize affirmations are very important because the more affirmations, the higher you raise your vibration. Yep. I'm starting to
Your
realize that
thoughts?
now because for a long time, I thought I had no control over my thoughts. For real. My thoughts are all over the place,
Yeah,
out
me
of
too.
control. But God said, but like we have control over our thoughts. We just, got to learn how to say affirmations, be like, I am great. No, I, blah, 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 whatever. And trust
Mm,
me, like your life will change just with thoughts.
that's true. Cause
Mm-hmm.
I used to say it all the time,
Yeah.
and my thoughts change.
Yep. So yeah, affirmations are very important. It's almost like a spell. You know how people like use spells? It's sort
They
of
are
like
spells.
yeah, but that's the thing is like they're
Mm,
spells, but it's just like we call it affirmations, but like that's where spell work comes from. It comes from
yeah,
manifesting through words. Yep.
but when people think about spells, they think about bad. Trying
Yeah.
to trying to put negative energy onto somebody. But what I found out through this process is that saying good things is a spell too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Energy cleansing, removing negative energy from your space. Energy cleansing helps clear negativity and restore balance to our spirit by removing stagnant or heavy energy that can weigh us down emotionally and spiritually. Practices like smudging with sage, taking spiritual baths, using crystals or sound healing help purify our aura and create a sense of renewal. By regularly cleansing our energy, we create space for positivity, peace, and alignment with our higher self. How do you cleanse your energy when you're feeling drained? I mean, affirmations. When I'm feeling drained, normally I would go to
Mm.
video games and all that, but I've
Mhm.
learned to say affirmations to feel better. Sometimes, even when I'm feeling sick, I'll tell myself I'm not sick. And the more I tell myself that, the more I feel, not sick, I
Better.
feel better. I think that our thoughts really do play a really big role in our physical reality. We just don't know it.
Oh yeah.
And I realized that my negative thinking is probably the reason why I'm in this situation that I'm in now.
Yep.
Yep.
What
So,
I found out is that it's an addiction to negative thoughts. And
yeah.
it's like a replay. It's like a broken record. It's always these negative thoughts constantly coming up. And once you decide to be intentional and start to counter them and say positive things all the time, then those thoughts go away.
Space and spirit. What's your experience with,
With cleansing my energy when I feel drained.
yeah.
Well, so I think my issue is that I know when I'm feeling drained, but I tend to ignore it. And I think that's just a trauma response that I just,
Removing
because
negative
I'll
energy
feel a
from
heavy
space and spirit.
feeling or I'll feel like a blockage or whatever, and I'll just sit around and act like it's not there and ignore it until like my guys have you like message me and say I feel your energy or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
then I will sit in it and deal with my drain, why my energy feels drained or whatever, to help me get unstuck and make me slow down and notice how I'm feeling and journal why I feel drained.
Mm-hmm.
I used to clean every day. No, I used to cleanse my energy every day in my house every week to keep negative energy away from me. But now I understand that I have ascended high enough that I don't have to cleanse my energy at all because I'm protected by my spiritual team. They clean my energy. You all can ascend to that level too when you turn your pain into power and ascend. The
Mm-hmm.
reason why I am so protected is because of the work I put in to love myself on this journey of self love. When you
Right.
show the universe that you love yourself, you will be protected by your guides too.